Live from the Kingdom Bar and Grill in Overland Park, we bring you Buck and Bob Take on Chiefs Kingdom, a podcast for fans by fans.
Yeah, I'm Buck, and I'm a huge fan of the doink.
Doink.
I'm Mel, and I'm a huge fan of going for a touchdown instead of a field goal when we're on our third string kicker.
And I'm Bob, and I don't have anything to say. My heart almost gave out tonight, so I don't have anything cheeky to say. But we bring you a podcast that's just like people talking at a bar. We're actually in a bar tonight, but that's what the podcast is. We hope you guys enjoy it. We're gonna talk about another sad showing, but a win for the KC Chiefs. I don't understand how this happens, but it happens.
It happens
is it
every single week.
Sad?
This wasn't even the closest game by far. I mean, there's 3 games this season that we, by all means, should have lost, and this wasn't one of them. It was smart play in the end that got us the win. When you're on your backup kicker, man, I don't want it to come down to that guy at the end.
Yeah, I know. It's just been, and it did come down to it. It was a doink to go in. I mean, everybody was cheering, but I was like, "It's the thing!" And then I saw the refs with their hands up, and I was like, "Okay, we did actually make it." But I mean, it was close.
Yeah, it was very close to being just like we knelt it. That's where I was at. I was like, "Okay, guys, we can't just run. And try to run out the clock and maybe break something. Like, we're not even going to take a shot. We're just going to kneel."
Well,
that shows you the confidence that Andy has right now with everybody.
The confidence was put to shit when he hit the upright.
Does that show confidence, though? Because I feel like what it shows is that he doesn't trust
that we won't
his running
fumble it.
backs won't fumble the ball. Yeah, and that's not been a problem,
since Carson Steele got
except
out of the
for Carson
lineup.
Steele. But I mean, that hasn't been a problem for this team for the most part. So I really would have liked to run the ball there. Now they were talking about on the TV, if they run the ball, there's a good chance the Chargers just let them score so they can get the ball back. But still, man, I mean, run out some more clock, get it even closer. Like, if they would have kicked it from the 1, I was nervous.
Listen, even if you run the ball, you get a touchdown, you give the Chargers a chance, and they make it all the way down the field, they still would have had to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, right?
No.
No.
They were only down by 1.
Touchdown would have won.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we start the game out, right? And Pacheco comes out hot first 3 plays. It turned out, at least in the first quarter, they were kind of switching Pacheco and Hunt's carries off and on, and that was what they were doing. It seemed to change later on in the game, but that's what we started doing.
Yeah, what was interesting to me, though, is that Pacheco ended up having 14 carries, and Hunt only had 5.
Yeah, it's like they'd stopped doing Hunt. I don't know if he tweaked something or what.
He looked fresh when he was running.
Yeah.
He didn't look like he did 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Pacheco looked great.
Yeah, he did.
And I will say, and I made a note because I know that Bob has said Pacheco doesn't break tackles. I'm pretty sure.
He doesn't break tackles like Hunt. That's true.
Okay.
It's factual.
I'm pretty sure there was one play where literally Pacheco was carrying like 4 guys.
That he does, but he doesn't break them.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely drags people on. That's,
I know. I hate it. I absolutely hate it that I had to admit that he was right. But he was right. He's not breaking tackles. I looked at the entire
He broke a couple today.
2023. Okay, so he broke a tackle. We need him to break like 2 or 3, 4 or 5 a game.
Listen.
But, I mean, he broke a tackle today. I don't know how many tackles he had broken for last season, but I watched his entire highlight reel, and it was probably in the single digits. But he does drag defenders with him almost every single time.
Right.
So it's still,
he's still like that
he's still getting
power
a positive.
back. He's still like the power back that like is gonna like push through, and like yes, he's not gonna break it out and like go all the way for a touchdown, but he's gonna like push his way through and get 5 more yards than you thought he should have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But either way, we didn't see Hunt much after that. We didn't carry it
Mahomes
as
had
much
more
as I
rush
thought.
yards than Hunt.
Yeah, I mean,
That's sad.
Well, between the two running backs, we had 19 running plays. That's just between those two.
Yeah.
Well, and P. Ryan. P. Ryan is a running back, so we had 20. 20 rushes, which, yeah, I'd like to see 25,
I mean, we had
30.
25. Worthy
But-
had one.
It was really heavy running in the first half, and then they almost just kind of went away from it in the second half, which is frustrating because the second
really
half,
frustrating.
we were really struggling.
I mean, well, we could talk about that, but we went in to the half a 13-0 lead and then gave it up immediately in the third quarter. It was just absurd. We're still struggling on offense. DJ Humphrey started, but he definitely looked like he was rusty. On top of it, they were doing some intricate pass rushes to confuse the line because they knew that they didn't have their, interior communication up to snuff because they knew he was starting new and hadn't been with the team. Mm-hmm. So they were doing some weird stuff on the pass rush, but the worst part is he got hurt towards the end of the game, and we don't even know what's going on. I think it might have even been in the third quarter, but he didn't come back. Wanye did okay.
Did he come back?
I don't think he did.
I didn't
see him come back.
And I think that's why you weren't sure if he came back or not because he didn't do like he did last week. And
I mean, Wanye did okay, but what I noticed was as soon as Wanye came in, Mahomes had one rush where he rushed to the right side, away from Wanye's
away
side.
from danger.
He was like, I know they're coming, and he broke out to the right side. And then the rest of the plays were very dink and dunk. He was getting him out quick. Whether Wanye was holding it or not, that was exactly and I know the whole game wasn't, him throwing long, deep bombs until Wanye came in. I think that's what scares me the most is that I feel like we're not getting there was a couple Mahomes-esque plays today, which I was really excited about, right? There was one where he was scrambling in the pocket and then made a jump throw down the field.
Yep.
There was the one with Hopkins where he threw it all the way down the field. Hopkins caught it. It was a helmet to helmet that made Hopkins drop. But I think for the most part, there's little bits of what I want to see, but there's so much of just nothing.
Really. I'm gonna get on. I'm still saying Matt Nagy is setting up game plans that just aren't working. With the line struggling as much as it is, we need to have quick slants. We have the personnel for quick slants. The Chargers used it on us all night tonight. Yeah. I mean, I just don't understand why he can't do that and why. I mean, it's very frustrating to watch this and know that we could be doing better, but there are some bright spots. But I will say there was some bull. I mean, I'm gonna bring it back to this every time because all the idiots on the internet seem to think that the Chiefs get helped out by the refs. Bolton got called for a personal foul in the first quarter. And he used his shoulder. There was no helmet to helmet, nothing.
His helmet didn't even contact the other guy.
But then,
much less his helmet.
Yeah, but then what happened with us? Okay, so in the fourth quarter, D-Hop goes up to catch. Defenseless receiver also gets helmet to helmet and no call. I mean,
there was
absolutely
also
absurd.
Remember the one where I don't remember who it was, but somebody was running. I think it might have been Hopkins. They were running down the field, and the defender was basically holding them, and then stopped them from turning, and then they didn't call pass interference because it was an uncatchable ball.
Yeah, it should have been holding.
The guy was standing in
Yeah.
his way.
But it should have been defensive holding prior to
Yeah, if anything,
a possible
like, it should have
pass
been
interference call. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, D-Hop literally was held 4 times before the ball was thrown on that play. I've got
Yeah.
it written down
It
right
was
here
nuts.
in the second freaking quarter. It's just, I don't understand how we can fix this
X
because
went
it's
crazy.
absurd. And then we got a pass interference that was exactly the same thing that happened to D-Hop, but it happened to us in the freaking fourth quarter or whatever.
Dude, X went crazy when, like, apparently the stadium started chanting something like bad about the refs. I don't remember what it was, but they started chanting something bad about the refs, and X went nuts on like, oh, it's funny hearing the Chiefs talk to their teammate over here, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
I can't
The
with
people
that
on the internet, the Chiefs haters, are just absurd. I mean,
Yeah.
they're either trolls or they're actually
Morons.
actual morons. Like,
Yep.
it's absurd because we get screwed so much, but.
All the teams do.
I
I
They
don't want to
do.
say. I don't want to
they
sit here
do.
and say the Chiefs get screwed and everybody else is benefiting from it. No.
Yeah, that's the
refs
difference between
are
us and the morons.
Absolutely deplorable this year. It's like they're going backwards. It seems like it's been that way for the last few years too. And I don't know if that's just me paying more attention to the games. I don't know what it is, but
Honestly, I think
ruining
it's-
the games.
It's not though. I think it's just every time they impact a game, people get upset one way or the other, right? And then they start investigating all the other plays that happened in that game. And it's happened, it's not a recent thing. It's a historical thing. Like, refs are humans. They will make errors. They will make mistakes. They can only see so much. They don't have eagle eye vision. So I agree that there's certain things that they shouldn't call at certain times, but at the same time, we're going to get mad when they don't call the small hold that happened when it could have won us the game if they had called the small hold.
I just keep saying, if it's on instant replay, call the penalty.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But you bring up a good point. Maybe it's an eyesight thing. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't think there's any refs out there under the age of 40 or 50. Maybe they need some young people out there with sharper eyesight, faster reflexes.
And, like, just
Right.
basically
I
hand-eye
was
coordination,
not saying-
too.
I was
Another ref on the
not-
field.
I was not accusing the refs of being old and their eyesight being bad. That was not my play.
Are you sure? Because that's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it is pretty much a proven theory that women are better multitaskers than men. So maybe let's get more women out there.
That
This
wouldn't
is
hurt.
true. I really do think more women referees would be a good thing.
I'm fine with that.
I just want to say this is not how I feel, but when we were talking about, like, when I said the last few years, immediately jumped in my mind. It was like, well, that's when we started getting women refs. Maybe there's no, I don't believe that. I believe that women refs are actually probably better, honestly, but they're definitely not worse.
I don't
than
see them.
men refs.
I'll tell you one thing. I can't actually think of a instance where I saw a bad call from a woman.
Okay,
So
but
I'll
you
say
also
that.
you haven't seen there's been no woman white hat refs yet, right?
Well, yeah. So, yeah, the main ref that's calling the penalties
Yeah.
has been a male. So, yeah, even though
Like the
whatever
woman
ref
goes
called
to the
penalty.
male.
Yeah, but I'm
like-
talking when they throw the flag and everything. Like,
Oh, I rarely see the
I
ref.
rarely see
Yeah,
who does
it's-
that.
It's
Oh,
usually
okay.
a flag flying in from the side of the screen that I see. So I'm not really sure who's calling it most of the time, but
that's
don't
just,
really care.
But yeah, the first quarter or the first half was just punt city. Like, it was.
Okay, I will say though,
Nico Ramiro looked good though on returning the punts.
we came out in our first 2 defensive plays were sacks,
Yeah.
and that felt awesome.
When?
Right
Wait, what?
at the start of the game.
Our first 2 defensive plays were sacks?
Yes, it was Chanel and Wharton, both had a sack. Play 1 and play 2.
Huh.
I told you I thought those two had sacks early in the game. Yeah.
I wrote it down.
Sometimes it's harder to pay attention to every single little detail when we're in an open environment like this.
100%.
It is. Yeah, it definitely was harder for me. But
When we were at the actual game on that Monday night, it was impossible.
I don't even see a sack in the first half summary. I don't even see. I think you're crazy.
Okay. Well, you think I wrote it down and like just made it up?
Well, if we look at the first quarter, Pacheco, okay, Pacheco
Bolton had
Mahomes.
2 sacks.
Then
Bolton had 1.
Chargers come out at 10:05.
Chanel didn't get a sack.
Edwards left end. -2 yards. We got tackle for a loss. -2 yards, tackle for a loss. Oh, Herbert sacked second play, but the first
The one
first
with
play
Chanel
was
a sack. Yeah, it was a tackle for a loss.
yeah, that was Edwards. Yeah, no, yeah. We only had 3 sacks for the game, but sometimes when there's a quick handoff and they hit the running back in the backfield, it could look like a sack. But that's another
my bad.
thing of
So
us
we had a
watching it in a
tackle for
bar
a
and
loss.
not like being able to take
Still.
everything in.
Chanel
your
got a
point,
tackle
yeah.
for a loss on the first play, and then Wharton got a sack on the second play. Like, we started out defensively with a bang.
We did, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the Chargers at halftime made an adjustment, and they were able to exploit this defense.
I mean, we
Okay.
still
A lot in the
held
second
we
half.
still held their main running back to 3.6 yards.
Okay,
And
but
their second running back to 4.3 yards. But
I told Buck this during the game. Whenever the opposing team's quarterback drops back and like gets ready to throw a long pass, I 100% know in my head that that pass is going to go to a wide open receiver. And guess what? They pan out, and
Pretty
there's
much.
the receiver in the
Every
middle of the
time.
field, and the 2 Chiefs defensive players are 5+ yards away.
Oh yeah, easily.
And
10.
I'm like, what is happening every time? Like, I don't know what's going
it's
on.
blown coverage or man coverage that has gone on for too long, and the defense, rush didn't get to him in time to make man coverage worse. But I mean,
But our rush, like, this week, I will say, we had a much better pass, presence in our defense, right? Like, we rushed the quarterback, how many times?
you mean hurried?
Yeah, hurried the quarterback.
Uh,
We hurried the quarterback 7 times. We sacked him 3 times. We had 6 tackles for a loss. Like, we were in there. We were in the backfield.
Yeah, we had good tackles for a loss. They hurried us 13 times, but only had 1 tackle for a loss, which
Listen,
was
I'd
good.
like to know how many of those happened once Morris
Once
came in.
Wanya's- Yeah.
But I will say, even with Humphreys, I feel like Humphreys, there was a couple plays where you could just tell the communication wasn't there between
Yeah.
the offensive line. Like, the swaps weren't there. Like, Humphreys had a guy, and then that guy went inside, and the other guy next to Humphreys was like, and the other guy just ran right around, right? So, like, the communication wasn't there to swap or to do all of that, and I think that will come with time. But it's still so much better.
Oh yeah, I think honestly, it's one of my notes here is that even though the game was close, I think both offensively and defensively, both lines were better.
They were,
tonight
yeah.
than they have been in the recent past, and that's a positive note going forward. Like you said, that the offensive line, the communication, I don't even think it was so much communication, because I think most of the communication comes in before the call is played or before the play is called. I think that what happens though after the play starts is those guys just know from practice, and when they see a defense start coming, they know where their assignments are and where they need to adjust. And DJ just hasn't had time to learn all that yet.
Yeah,
So
which is fair.
still way better.
Yeah. Like, there was a couple times which you expect for the left tackle to get beat, right? That's fine. Like, I don't love it, but that's fine. Just because it's like, at that point, I'm like, oh my God, no, it's the same as before. But that's fine. I think it's, for the majority of it, I felt like he was holding enough. Yeah, sorry. I felt like he was holding it down enough to give Patrick a little bit more time. And at one point, I just felt like the rest of the offensive line was
Well,
failing.
I actually had a note during the first half. I think it was in the first quarter where it was notably different how much time Mahomes had as compared to the first 12 games of the season.
Yeah.
And it was almost
But
like
he still had happy feet, though.
Yeah, he did. He still had happy feet, and I think that's going to take a little while for him to kind of calm that down. It shows that he just wasn't sure what to expect,
Right.
and that he knew that he had to be on point just in case everything broke down.
I mean, you have to
it's
remember,
almost like-
Humphreys has only been here
Yeah, this
for
is-
what, 12 days?
Yeah, this is his second full week, I believe, with the team.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I'm just watching the volume levels, and every time you look over, so I was just trying to point it at her. Yeah, it's. I'm getting so beat down. You know, Joshua Williams came out of the game, started looking good, then got hurt. Like, how many quarters can we go through? It's killing my confidence, and it's got to be killing the team's confidence too, with these close games. And I just don't even know. I'm so
Do you think
burnt out
it's-
tonight. I'm a bad podcaster tonight. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to get myself out of this slump.
So here's the thing, is that I was listening to probably Nick Wright, but it could have been somebody else. But I was listening to them talk about Mahomes saying that the close games have been good for them, right? And somebody on a different, not Nick Wright, somebody else brought up, you know, okay, a couple weeks ago he was like, well, I'd like to blow somebody out here, you know, or not to be so close. But at the same time, this winning such close games does give the Chiefs this mentality of belief, right? That a lot of other teams don't have. The fact that we have pulled out so many games with so many different ways, in so many different ways, right? Like special teams, defense, offense. Like, we have pulled them out of our hat in some way and said, okay, we're going to win. But you know why that happens? It's because every single person on that team, even though we're down by 3 or by 7, goes into that next play like, we're going to make this happen.
yeah, they
And
believe in Patrick Mahomes.
Believe we're going to win. They believe in the team. I think it's more than Mahomes. I think it's they believe in the team.
It's
When
definitely got to
Mahomes-
be. It's got to be more than Mahomes right now.
Yeah,
this
'cause-
season's been. Mahomes has not been, Superman this year. So
That's not fair, though.
They
when we
believe in
need
the
a
team.
play, Mahomes makes it happen a lot of times.
yeah, but so do other people. That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with your point. Is
Yeah.
that they don't just before everybody was like, Mahomes will do it.
Mahomes will make it happen,
But
right?
now you're like, well, maybe somebody will do it.
But somebody always does it, right?
Yes.
And like that belief is so much better, I think, for their mentality than have blown out every team. Because if we had blown out every team, people would get sloppy. People would get. Now, I would be in much better health. You know, like my heart would probably not, give me warnings on my watch that says your heart rate is high and you seem to be sitting. That's rude, first of all.
Bright spots. Kelsey's getting some yards after catch. He must have listened to the podcast.
Did you see him
and been like-
juking?
Yeah.
He's juking.
Even pulled a move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I will shut you guys up. He's like, this Buck and Bob podcast has been talking shit on me.
He's very worried about our
Worthy,
opinion.
Worthy,
Wow.
looking good.
Worthy
good.
looking really good. I don't want to say great, but that was the first word that came to my mind. He's really stepping up each game. It seems like he's just a little bit more
A
confident.
little bit better.
And a little bit better. He came up with a sideline catch today, and he stayed in bounds.
What? I missed that.
Yeah, I missed it
Did it
too. I
happen?
was in the bathroom. Yeah, he told me about it.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Good job,
I know.
Worthy. I'll give
Way
you
to go, Worthy.
kudos,
Golf clap, Worthy.
What I will say, which is weird, is, and not a bad thing, but we are using Worthy in a way that's like, I don't know, like the screen pass and the like really short passes and all of that. And I don't know that his speed is helping him much in those passes. Like sometimes,
it's
occasionally.
like they're not even
Yeah.
utilizing the speed.
Oh, but he did break a tackle today too.
You got to remember, though, McCole Hardman going on IR, they probably changed Worthy's roll up a bit because they weren't going to put Nico Ramirio in the main offense. That's why we probably saw Juju get more, Hopkins was a little weird today. Hopkins.
Well, hold on. With Worthy,
Oh,
though,
go ahead.
I think, just to close out Worthy, I think for me, I do think that it's good for him to get some of these, like, basics, too, because I think it'll help him going forward instead of just relying on his speed. Like, that was our problem before, is, like, he just relied on his speed. Now he's, like, catching it in traffic. He's doing these routes.
He did a
and
juke. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a juke, right? So, like, I think that those things are all really, really positive for the future. I don't know that they're going to help us tremendously right now. But even going into the playoffs, like, he's definitely getting more action.
This is the Worthy that I expected to see really early on in the season, and it wasn't happening. So I was really starting to doubt whether he really had it in him to be an NFL wide receiver. But, man, I couldn't be happier to be wrong. After these last 3 or 4 weeks, every single week he's making another play more than he made the last game. He's stepping up just a little bit more.
Yep.
I think by the time the playoffs come, he's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. But Hopkins targeted 9 times, but only came down with 4 of them. Had a drop right there by the goal line that I thought it was a catch just because I was like, oh, it's Hopkins.
Yeah.
But he dropped it. It was weird. But I will say,
Wasn't
the
that
beauty of
helmet?
him. No, that was a different one. But the beauty of him, though, no picks off of those targets
He doesn't
missed.
like catch them and toss them to the defensive
yeah.
player.
Speaking of, I know you're speaking of Kadarius Toney. He absolutely screwed his team today, at least twice.
It
in the
felt
plays
so
that I
bad
watched.
he wasn't with us anymore.
I was. He was like on a knee, almost crying in tears after that fumble punt that he had today, and I was like, "Good luck, Browns. He is your headache now."
Poor Browns. The Browns, I mean,
I don't feel bad for the Browns.
yeah.
But we were talking during the game. You know, it would be nice to get from the Browns. And Brett Veach, if there's any GM that can make this happen, it's Brett Veach. But can we possibly trade Sky Moore for Myles Garrett? I mean,
We'll give you a 7th
He's
round
done
pick,
better than
too.
that.
Like a 7th round pick. We'll give you that, too.
But
If we make it to the playoffs.
no, he'll probably get a 2nd round pick from them too.
So I think what messed me up today and why I'm in such a slump and trying to just kind of wrap my brain around this is because we went into halftime. I went out to take a vape, like I was feeling good, talking to people, and then we come in, and in the third quarter, pretty quickly, we've lost the lead, and all of a sudden it's 14-13.
I think it was the first 2 drives of the second
Like,
half.
I was feeling like we were gonna finally have that game to put away. And I will say the Chargers are a good team. Harbaugh is
really good
really
coach.
doing well
Yeah.
coaching them. They are coming along. So this isn't the team to blow out. But with that much of a lead, I figured we had something going. But I guess at the same time, we think about the Bills game today. The Bills were down 3 scores and came back. So
Almost won.
yeah. But they didn't, and that makes everything a little bit more relaxing. We could lose a game and still have the number 1 seed.
Why would you even say that? Why would you put that out
I
in the
know.
universe?
I know.
I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, that
So-
doesn't matter.
So
I'll be
you
right back.
said you went to halftime feeling confident. I went into halftime feeling like we're so screwed.
I went into halftime feeling very
You
confident.
felt like we were just screwed at 13 to nothing.
We only had 13 points. I felt like like 2 scores and we're done. You know, like the offense hadn't given me enough confidence to feel like we were going to just run away with it. Like we got to the red zone a couple
I didn't
times
feel like
and
we
we
were
got
gonna run away with it, but I
field
thought we might
goals.
go score for score at that point and be good, you know. But I'll be right back. You guys keep going.
Yeah, no, I went into the halftime fully confident that I didn't think we're going to keep the Chargers, goose-egged. That's so hard to do in today's NFL.
Yeah.
So, of course, I didn't think that was going to happen. But at that point, I felt like we were going to have a comfortable 7 to 10 point game at the end, and it wasn't going to be stressful like it was. What is every end of every
I
game
mean, I
like
knew
this?
it was going to be stressful. Like, even if we had gone to half 21 to nothing, I would have felt super confident.
Really?
Even 14 to nothing. But the fact that it was 13 to nothing because we had scored 2 field goals,
Yeah,
right?
2 field goals and a
Yeah.
touchdown. And the touchdown was close to the end of the half.
Yeah. So it's like they didn't build my confidence up enough. And I think that that's the biggest thing is that they're not explosive. There's zero explosive plays right now on the offense. And
Zero.
that is what kills me. Like there's nothing, like I'm not excited about anything that's happening. It's more like, oh my God, we did it. Thank God. Right? Or, oh my God, we converted that. Like there's no, oh yes, this is amazing. Look at that play. Like it's very rare. There wasn't any tonight. And the ones that could have been weren't, right? Whether they were a drop pass or holding, missed call or whatever, right? That's
Well,
what I'm
we
missing.
did have some big third downs, and I did feel like we really didn't have too much of a problem moving the ball between the 20s, but the red zone still just continues to be a point of we got to stop. We got to stop scoring
in the
field
red
goals.
zone. It's our game plan in the red zone because, and I feel like we might see this get better as we get a little bit more time
As
with
after
Humphreys.
after Bieniemy gets here for his consulting job that's bound to come.
I was going to say, do you know this is happening, or are you just kind of hoping because it did last year?
Hoping because
Okay.
it did last year.
Well, me too.
And he just got let
Yes,
go.
right, yeah,
So it's perfect timing.
Yeah, the
baby.
stars are lining up.
Perfect timing, baby.
Come on, Bieniemy. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah, so
I'm looking up Humphrey's injury update to see if there's any
I don't even
update.
want to look at it yet.
yeah, and Joshua Williams, I don't even know what to do. I heard, Patrick Peterson's a little old, but the bad seed, but the pick master, Marcus Peterson,
No.
is available,
Marcus
I believe.
Peters? No, I don't want
Peters?
Marcus Peters back.
Peters? I don't either, but
don't.
I would take him
No
right now.
disrespect. I just don't. I don't think his personality really.
It could have changed, though. His
But
personality
it was
could
that
have
way when
changed.
he was on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so I don't think it's going to change.
well, but he's had it's been a long time since he was a Chief. Like, I don't even think he played as a Chief ever when Patrick Mahomes was here. So
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, he came in and he almost broke the pick record when he was with us.
Yes.
With he did give up a lot of big plays, but he was a scary factor for other offenses to have to worry about. But he's probably old now. He probably can't do it now.
31 years old.
Yeah. But I don't know that speed was ever his huge thing. But I also didn't study the game as much as I do now. Back when he was playing, but he had so many picks, man. He was really, really
Yeah,
good
he
at
was,
that.
but he was young, and seeing as that he's 31.
He did have success after he left
Sure,
us,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I haven't heard about him in a long time.
He was a really good player. Don't get me wrong. It's not an ability and a play on the field thing that I don't want. It's that personality. I just remember I just hated the way that he acted on the field.
He was a jerk.
Absolutely hated it, and I didn't want him on this team. And I still
Yeah.
don't, because I really don't think
He was a total jerk.
I don't think you can change that much.
I don't know, man. If I think back to me in my, late teens compared to me now, I mean, it's a big change. But yeah,
Sure.
I also didn't have, tons of money and everything else, and yeah, I love a redemption story. That's why I, liked Jamie Lannister later, because he was a horrible person that became good. And if George ever would have finished the books, he was on an arc to become great, but the stupid showrunners for the show screwed everything up and made it revert back.
Patrick Peterson played for the Chiefs from 15 to 17, so yeah, he was not part of the Patrick Mahomes era.
Marcus
Peters, yeah.
Yeah.
I said Patrick.
Yeah,
sorry.
you said Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, Marcus Peters. Yeah.
It happens to me too.
Yeah,
It's hard.
Yeah.
But so I mean, he was a great player, but he was definitely a cancer, and But I mean, we're gonna start to have to put out, just like random people off the street if we keep hurting corners. Although,
That's where Kareem Hunt came from, and he's doing all right.
yeah, well, that's where Marcus Peters could come from.
I mean, if we sign Marcus Peters, I'm not going to beat down the door saying that was a stupid call. I'll let it play out before I talk some shit. But
I just can't believe you don't think he's the same as the guy that you love,
no, he's not.
Crosby.
And I don't love Crosby. I would love to see him on this
Crosby.
team. I think that Crosby would fit in better with this team, personality-wise, way more than Marcus Peters would. That's what I think.
Maybe.
But I think the chances of us getting Max Crosby are none, and Patrick or Marcus Peters is a potential. He's out there. I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
We won this game, but I am depressed. I mean, DJ going down towards the end of the game was just
took the steam out of this room.
I've been so excited about him, and yeah, he had a rocky game today, but I thought, he's going to start to gel. He's going to get it. But wow, now I just don't even know what to do, man.
Don't give up hope yet. We don't know what's going on.
Well, of course I'm not giving up hope, but I'm really down in the dumpster right now, and really hoping for something. And I still see everybody on the sidelines that I see. They're like not. Everybody was standing or looking at their iPads or looking at their, I guess they're not iPads, they're Microsoft Surfaces, but because Microsoft sponsors them or whatever. But like everybody looking at their stuff, studying, everybody ready. But it seems like there's something in the locker room that's got people just kind of like weird. I don't know what it is, but it seems weird. I see Kelsey sitting on the sidelines just kind of staring off into space, which is weird.
Like, I think they're reflecting. I think they know what to do. They know how to make that better. They like the mistakes we're seeing are dropped passes or like miscommunicated routes or things like that. Like things that they don't need to look at tape to show them what is going wrong. Like they know.
I mean, I agree with you 100%, but I see what Bob's saying.
I need you both to like talk where your lips are almost kissing the mic. I love you guys.
What I'm saying is that
No, but go. Yeah.
No, I kind of lost my thought.
Well, hold on. You were. What was your point right there? Because he had something good.
You said something, and then she was.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think you said you agreed with Bob about them being on the sidelines.
Yeah,
Yes.
just stared off into space.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is back in the 2019, especially the 19 and 20 teams, when things weren't going right. Mahomes was on the sideline, and he's jazzing up everybody.
Yep.
He's getting them all going. And we knew that when we saw that happen, we were going to see something special almost every single time.
Yep.
And that's almost completely gone from the sideline now. I don't disagree that looking at the plays and looking at maybe the mistakes, but I'm just not seeing the excitement, the love of the game. And that's a factor. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm not
all of
seeing
that
it at all.
Means something. And I don't know if it's.
I mean, Mahomes walking down the side and be like, "All right, guys, we got this next time. Don't even, shake it off when somebody does something wrong."
Yeah.
And now it's almost like they're on the sidelines pouting. I feel like we really, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the Chiefs team has turned into where they're kind of poking at their Cheerios instead of eating
Dude,
them.
I know what they need. Have you ever seen The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler version of The Longest Yard?
Oh, yeah.
So in the middle of the movie, they were doing well, right? And so the guards saw this, and the guards wanted to, kick him in the shins a little bit. And so they went out and soaked the field. I mean, absolutely soaked the practice field. And so the guys went out there, and they were like, I guess we can't practice. And Adam Sandler was like, no, man. And then they started doing, these crazy slides in the mud, and they were just having fun playing as kids. Maybe that's what the Chiefs need. Just go out there. Go play in a mud pit, have fun together.
I mean, honestly, we saw at training camp where they were doing the things where they were where Mahomes was turning around 4 times and then throwing the ball.
When they did the
you
ring
do
around the rosy.
Hat,
It just seems like they're not having fun out there. And Kelsey's staring off into space. You see Mahomes, he's sitting there looking kind of pissed off and annoyed. And I think we've I hate to say it, but I think we've gotten to the point to where we're pissy now that we're not doing, even though we're winning, the team seems pissy that they're not doing better.
I mean, aren't we pissy that they're not doing
Yeah.
better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody and the fans, the team, everybody's annoyed because we know what our potential
Because we
is.
can't do anything, but they're sitting there on the sidelines with their thumbs up their asses, and that's the problem.
And I don't think they are. I think
Do you remember? So last
they're
year,
all sitting there not talking. The team just doesn't seem like a team.
So last year this happened, and then everything changed in the playoffs. And I know we've talked about this with Bieniemy coming back, and maybe Bieniemy was part of that. Maybe that's the key that Bieniemy holds, is he can come in and fire up the team.
And just be like, hey,
Maybe
you
they're
little
holding
whiny
it.
babies. Shut the fuck.
Maybe they're holding it in. Maybe they know that, look, we're doing enough right now just to squeak by and still have
I hope you're right.
one of the best records in the NFL. And we know that in the playoffs, we got to turn it on. And in the past, Andy Reid has had, 5 to 10 gadget plays per game. And that's a lot. That's a lot to come up with every single game, every single season. So maybe he's kind of holding that back a little bit until we really, really need it.
Well, that's what I've said, is that they're not playing the gadget plays right now because
I mean, that's my
You
hope.
think this is one big ruse? They're sitting there on the sideline. They all have a little instant messenger that they're doing.
These suckers don't.
They
They don't even know
No.
what they're about to
think we're
see.
mad at
I
each
think
other.
I think what's happening is they've got the contacts in that they're watching the plays on their in their eyes.
Oh, in their contacts.
Yeah, it's 3D.
Google contacts.
Yeah, and they're just looking like they're staring off into space, and in reality,
Yeah, but they're studying plays.
Yeah, they're studying plays and they're talking to everybody.
That's it. I think we just figured it out.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's
I don't know.
Secret,
I'm just saying.
secret sauce.
I wonder if anybody else thinks that what we see on the sidelines right now is not indicative of what the Chiefs have been the past 5-6 years.
It would make me a lot more comfortable if Andy Reid would come out in the press conference after the game and say, look, Chiefs fans, I know it's a little frustrating to watch right now, but just wait. Just give me a little hint that there's something more coming.
But is it worth it to give the Chiefs fans who are already going to stay Chiefs fans that glimmer and make everybody else on notice.
But
You
they
know what I
wouldn't-
mean?
I think everybody else already kind of expects
They
something
are,
else. There's going to be a different gear.
But they're also like in the back of their head, every other team is like, well, they did it last year, but it could be different this year. You know what I mean? Like every team has come close to beating them. Like
Yes.
it is very possible that every single team that we have played could have won.
Yeah, and that's yeah. I don't know. There's nothing really else I could say about it. Something looks weird on the sidelines. I don't know what it is. Something's off with the team. We normally see them, Kelsey running down the sideline, talking to people. Mahomes, it seems like the leaders of this team are failing right now. And they talk about how Kelsey's such a great leader and Mahomes is such a great leader. Well, get off your ass.
And lead.
Yeah, do not sit on the sideline looking bummed.
Okay,
That's what we do as fans because we can't do anything else.
my argument to that is that we only see what the media shows us of them on the sidelines.
I mean, that is true,
Yeah.
but I also I look at the sidelines like when other plays are going on, and I see everybody just sitting there, nobody really talking, and it's just weird. It's just really weird. But yeah, that's all I've got for that. I mean, we don't need to harp on that longer.
I would say a special shout out to the punter.
Oh,
Who did
yeah.
a really good job.
Yeah.
And even in the first quarter, he punted one right to the 1 yard line.
Also, Nico Remigio brought up from the practice squad because we had to put Nico Hardman on IR, and he did great, man.
We miss you, Nicole. We do. No, I'll tell you, though, the thing that annoyed me the most about this game actually wasn't about the game itself. It was the graphic with the statistic that they were throwing up there. 14 games won by the Chiefs in a row of one-score games, which is absolutely not true.
Yeah, I don't get. There's got to be. Did they give a caveat to
No, it was that, and they
No.
threw that stat up there 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I've
so
heard other people
and
say
Nick
it.
Ridas said it too, and I'm confused.
Yeah, maybe there's something that they were supposed to say in there that would make that right. But, I mean, we did beat the Saints 26-13. That's a 2-score game, October 7th. And we beat the 49ers by 10 points the following week, October 20th, which, I mean, it's several games ago, but it's definitely not 14 games.
Yeah.
14
we've had,
games,
6.
14 wins in a row, or the 14 last wins would take us back to the playoffs of last year.
Yeah. Which is so weird. Why? I will investigate this before next week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I'm so curious because they're very adamant about it. And I've heard it in so many different
Yeah.
media outlets. What is that?
Yeah, they can't be talking about the last 14 games in total because
But
we
they
lost
say 14
a couple of weeks ago.
consecutive wins.
By one score,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which doesn't
not
make
true.
sense.
which
Yeah.
is not true.
Yeah.
Anybody in chat tell us what they're talking about, baby? You're probably just as confused as we are, but I mean, all in all, we did play a better game than them. We did, but I feel like we're a much better team than them. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. All I know is that we have the talent. I do know that. I keep harping on it, but something's going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and I don't know what that is.
The other cool stat that I noticed was before the game they were talking about Mahomes versus Herbert, and Herbert is averaging 213 throwing yards per game. Did you see the final stats?
Mm-mm.
He had 213 yards through the air today.
That is funny. He did, yeah.
Good job, Herbert.
Way to stay on pace, buddy.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
his
Not
He's
going to win a
also-
lot of games.
his
at
first
213.
quarter
No,
looked.
Herbert's-
His first half looked abysmal.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're doing Harbaugh's offense. They showed the whole thing where he has way less stats than he's had any year, but they're probably doing better. But I feel like you could have a cheaper quarterback if you want to run that type of offense.
Yeah, Russell Wilson could run that offense.
Like, I'm so glad Harbaugh's not our coach.
It would look like Marty Ball again.
Oh, God, I could not stand going back to Marty Ball. Somebody shoot me.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
No, it's
We're
not.
Still
We're
trying
only
to
running
do Andy
20,
Reid's.
20 times a game.
Yeah.
You can't call that Marty Ball.
All right.
Yeah, but we did rush more than them this game. We did shut the run down. It looks a little different because all of their good runs came in towards the end of the game, third quarter, like late third quarter or fourth quarter. So it's not like they ran horrible to start the game, which is, I don't understand how their play action worked, but it did work on us still.
Mm-hmm.
Because play action works if you're running. Like, if you continue to run, play action will work because we will continue to try to stop it. But if you stop the run, that's when play action stops working. That's why it's like, you don't have to be that successful at running. You just have to, be successful enough that they need more people in there to help stop it.
Which early on they weren't. I mean, we were stuffing the rush early on.
Yeah.
But
offensively, I will say, if you step back from the stats, you just kind of step back and just watch the game for what it is, I feel like this offense is starting to show signs. Mahomes did throw it long several times tonight, which he has been hesitant to do over the last several weeks because he hasn't had time.
Because he had more than 0.5 seconds.
Right. He hasn't had time. So he did let it go more tonight. And I think that's going to equate to more exciting games for us going forward. I just hopefully they can get it. Well, yeah. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with DJ Humphries. And maybe Wanye is getting better because he did look better tonight when he was in.
He did look better tonight. But go.
No, I was just going to say, going forward, I still feel like I saw signs of very positive thinking for Chiefs fans.
There was a glimmer.
Yeah, there were lots of little glimmers. Yeah, it's just once we get to that red zone, I'm tired of kicking field goals.
Yeah.
That is not what this team does.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's what this team does this season. But
yeah, it seems like we do the wrong thing every time. I don't know, but I think one of the other things that is kind of huge for the Chiefs right now, I think our depth is the worst that it's been in years.
In our line?
No, our depth across the entire team.
Yeah, in general.
That's because everybody's gotten hurt.
Yeah, people are getting hurt, but I mean, we're seeing Chris Jones play more percentage of the snaps than he ever has. I mean, he's at 97% of snaps played. He can't have power if he's having to come in every time. And then, we see all these. I feel like we don't have. If you think about last year, the year before, we had Gay, and then we had Willie Gay and at linebacker. Then we had oh gosh, what's his name now?
Bolton.
No.
Tranquil?
Yeah. We had Tranquil waiting in the wings. Well, who's our other linebacker waiting in the wings behind Tranquil and Bolton now? You don't know because we don't have one. Okay? We might.
Oh, shit, you're putting me on the spot.
No, we might have one, but
who
we don't
knows?
know who the hell he is.
Well,
we
Chanel.
knew.
Yeah, isn't Chanel?
No, he's.
Yeah, he's the other starting linebacker.
Yeah.
My other thought was Karlaftis, but I guess he's a defensive end.
Yeah, he's a D-line guy. So we don't have that other guy. That's, we had. That's my whole point. Is
I think.
Can you even think? Real quick here on the spot, because I can't think of it. Who's our third linebacker?
Oh.
I have no idea, but
See?
I think.
See? Our depth sucks right now.
But I think our depth sucks because of all the injuries we've had, right? I guess we haven't had injuries at middle linebacker, but
Yeah, we have
We've
Uche.
had so many injuries that have. Thank God we had the depth for them.
Yeah, but on the defense, we're playing the defense Iron Man, and that's where I see the problem is there. But
There definitely could be a problem. Yeah.
that's
Any
all
other
I've got
injuries?
that's all I've got for today. What do you guys got? Anything else? I'm bummed. I'm seriously bummed. Even
think-
though we won.
I
I
think
mean, go Chiefs,
seeing-
but shit.
Seeing Chris Jones call for a timeout on defense was funny. I've never
Yeah.
seen that before. I've never seen like a defensive person call a timeout. Have you?
Oh, I've seen
I've
before,
seen it
yeah.
before, but it's definitely not a norm.
Yeah, it's definitely
He
a
was
rare
just like,
thing.
"Oh
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, this is not good."
No, but I want to end this on positives.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Xavier Worthy,
Make me happy.
huge positive.
Yep.
Huge, yes,
Huge
definitely.
positive. Nico Remigio, pretty big positive, I think.
I think so, too.
His first game in for the season, and he had a great return for his first touch.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought I saw him catch a pass, but looking through the stats, he didn't. So maybe he can work himself in as a wide receiver over the next couple of weeks too.
We
But-
also have a possible Pro Bowl fullback,
yeah, right.
Carson Steele.
Yeah, as the only fullback. But
The only fullback in the NFL.
Kareem Hunt, Pacheco, these are all positives.
100%.
You know, the line was better tonight. That's a positive.
Juju looked good. Hopkins looked good.
I think Juju has been pretty solid all season. Honestly, he hasn't. He hasn't done anything.
every time he's been in, he's
Yeah.
been a solid help.
He's not breaking
he
50
is
yarders,
No.
but
what he
that's okay.
is,
We don't
yeah.
need him to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's breaking 50-yarders on the
Worthy
team.
could be,
We'll see.
but
Someday.
yeah, I think there's a lot of positives on the offense.
Agreed.
The defense worries me sometimes because I just feel like they're just playing a little bit soft. It's like we see that line get into the quarterback and we're like, go, 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 go. And then we see a 40-yard completion from Herbert. And that's
Yeah, it's
just
the
like.
secondary that's really killing me.
Yep, but
But the secondary wouldn't have
I
wouldn't
know.
even be blamed if the line was getting in there.
it is there. I mean, they are. Chris Jones even talked about it. They are playing it a little safe a lot of times.
Yeah.
Chris Jones was talking about it. He could have 3 more sacks on the year, but he would have had to take big chances that put the team in jeopardy doing so.
I believe it.
So, I mean, there is that, but at the same time, I mean, the sacks are coming up, though. I mean, we had 3.
Yeah.
That was better, and we did have some quarterback hurries, but, I mean, it's nothing compared to the Chargers' quarterback hurries. I mean, they almost doubled us.
I
so,
think those are hits, though, not hurries.
hits.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a quarterback hit is a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because if you
But
hit
I
them
feel
after
like
they throw the ball,
I
then
feel like we had
it's a
more
penalty.
hurries without actually getting to him, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if that's an actual stat, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see the pocket breaking down, but also I really feel like Mahomes is not playing like Mahomes. He's got happy feet, and he's just not playing like Mahomes, and he's not acting like Mahomes on the sideline. Mahomes, come back to us, man. Come back to us, please.
So our fingers crossed that Humphreys is healthy
Yes.
and can come back.
DJ Humphreys, not
Yes.
Creed.
Yes, Creed is still
Oh,
there.
that's crazy. We got 2 Humphreys on our offensive line.
Humphrey
just-
and Humphreys.
Oh. Well, yeah. Well, now there's 2 of them, so it's Humphreys. Hello.
Humphrey Dumfrey sat on a wall.
Oh my God.
Wow. So, are we
think-
wrapping up?
I mean, I think that's really
all I
all
got.
I've got to say. I mean, it was definitely an interesting experience here. Oh man, guys, you have to come out.
That's what I wanted to bring up. Was
to-
this bar was
This bar's amazing.
absolutely electric. I mean, there's probably 150 seats in here, and it was packed when we got here.
A
And
DJ like
The DJ was
calling
good.
for like
Calling first
downs. First downs, yep.
Calling-
and like
yeah.
touchdown, like
And then
everybody hyping
commercial
everybody
breaks.
Commercial
up.
breaks. We had music.
You had music,
Yeah.
a little
Good
bit of
music.
live
Super cool.
DJ,
Good music.
really good,
Very
music,
catchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just an amazing bar. You see the background behind us. There's another great one over here.
A better one.
There's TVs
Better one.
everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
they have great specials. It really is a cool bar, but it was definitely harder for us to really take notes. But if you're not covering the team,
Right. The atmosphere here is
the atmosphere.
electric.
I would be here every week.
Yep.
Period.
For sure.
So yeah, definitely an amazing bar, and it's also just pretty close to my house. So this is my new just bar to come to get lunch. Every other day. So
yeah. And the owner was here too, and that's
Thank you
That's kind
to
of a
the
big
Kingdom
deal
Bar.
because he's got his hands in things. He's making sure everything is going right. He was here just in case something went wrong and he had to step in, but he didn't. He was just having fun watching the game with everybody else. But he's a young guy too, so it's he's only in his 40s, so he's into making this place. I don't know. I don't know how you could really improve, but.
Well, I mean, they have live music multiple nights during the week. If you go to their website or their Facebook page, the Kingdom Bar and Grill in Overland Park off 127th and Antioch. If you go to their site, they have all kinds of specials constantly. The food here is amazing. It's the best potato skins I've had since I used to get them back in the day at TGI Fridays. I'm just gonna say, most of the places now I go to bars, they get them out of a frozen freezer, and they just put them on there. These are made here. It's so good. I mean, it's so good. So yeah, definitely check this
Come
place
check it out. Yeah.
Yep. And we're definitely happy that we did. So yeah, if you want to follow us, you can find us at buckandbob.com. That's BUKNBOB.com. You can find all of our links there. Join us on Facebook. Join us on Twitter X, Twix.
I'm on the Twix train now.
Yeah, join us, on YouTube. Just everything is Buck and Bob. There's either spaces or there's not. Just BUKNBOB. Sometimes there's a space between each side of the N. But
Probably
just
get the same
that.
result if you search just Buck and Bob.
And help us out. And Mel, where can we find you?
Here.
All right. You can find Mel at the Kingdom Bar and Grill.
Always.
Buck, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twix. It's at Buck_tastic. That's at BUK_TASTIK.
And you can find me on Twix, too, at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. And, yeah, you can find me at this bar weekly having some lunch. And, if you do, definitely come and say hi.
And we'll be live streaming tomorrow night also.
Oh, yeah.
So
Tomorrow.
don't forget to catch.
At the Sports Pub and Pizzeria in Lenexa, Kansas, right inside the All-American Sports Indoor Complex. And we've got a great guest, and we got more guests coming. That's an interesting show. That's gonna, probably be a lot of guests and probably be a lot of learning about stuff around Kansas City. We have Andrew Specka coming a week from tomorrow, also, and he works with the Kansas City. The Youth Ambassadors of Kansas City, and he's going to talk about that a bit. And there's a lot of Chiefs players involved in that. Sean Barber's one. We might be able to get him as a guest on, but stay tuned. We're going to have a lot going on, and thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
How about those Chiefs?